Hi, a very good morning to everyone joining us here today for this online mega fair, wherein we have top 11 Indian universities joining hand and coming together for the students of Stepping Stones High School, Aurangabad. We are very, very grateful to the school management, Mr. D. Cruz, the principal, and school counselor, Ms. Nasreen Mirza, for inviting us for this event. Our gratitude to the teachers and the staff at the school for enabling us today. Are also a deep gratitude to the students and parents joining us here today for this 90 minutes session. This is your host for today. I'm Ankur Vora, the head of outreach and international admissions at OP Jindal Global University. We are a leading social science research based institution located in Delhi NCR, India. So I'm very, very happy to have with me my colleagues from 11 other top Indian institutions from across the country. We have 90 minutes schedule. Given the time constraints and the breadth of the fantastic institutions that are here to engage with you today, we have restricted each one of us to have only 5 minutes presentation. We are hoping that we will have an interactive session and we will have enough time to have some Q&A also with the students at the end. My job here today is to be a timekeeper for all of us. I will ensure that we run this ship on time. We have been doing this for a couple of occasions in the past, and we have generally done a good job. All of my colleagues have done a wonderful job in summarizing their universities, which I mind you is a tough job to represent their institutions in 5 minutes. Generally, we require 30 to 40 minutes, but my great respect to my colleagues also from different universities who do that job in 5 minutes. So without much further ado, I would like to start this session with my first colleague from Ahmedabad University, Mr. Akash Sharma. Akash, if you can start your presentation.
Thanks, Ankur. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I would like to thanks Nasreen, Ankur, Vishal for organizing this wonderful fair. So I will just quickly begin with the introduction, then followed with the admission process, and then we end up with the Q&As. Well, Ahmedabad University is a very old university, 10 years old, and the trust is actually started by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, which was actually involved in setting up Ivy League institutions like Ahmedabad, NIT, PRL, SEP University, and LD College of Engineering. Ahmedabad is a very philanthropic and a very benevolent university, which was established by Sardar Patel and then taken forward by our Vice Chancellor Pankaj Chandra. It's currently associated with the Yashpal Committee, which is more into revamping the higher education in India. Here is the university fact sheet. We have 8 degree programs, 22 majors, 29 minors, 4 unique centers. We have 3,300 plus students, 130 full-time faculties, and the land bank of the university is more than 200 acres. But now that we have just opened 200, we have under 300 acres, which can be, utilized fully fledged once we, need the land bank to be open as per the school names, and schools will be decided later on. Faculties, we have PhDs from Stanford, MIT, Penn, Wharton, Chicago, Santa Barbara. We have faculties from Ahmedabad, Bangalore, IIMS, and Uppsala. So here are some of the uniqueness about the university. Since we all are here, there are more than 11 universities, I think. Most of the universities present over here at this forum offer liberal education, interdisciplinary learning. So I'll just quickly explain what is liberal education all about. At Ahmedabad, since we have more than 22 majors, we offer you to start, academics at the university without declaring any majors. So for example, a student joining Ahmedabad can just step into the university without declaring your majors or minors. Then you can learn across different programs, and then perhaps you can declare your majors in another 3 semesters or before entering 4th semester. For example, again, that if a student joins BBA in marketing, but after 2-3 months, he feels that he's more inclined towards accounting, or he or she feels that he's more maybe well versed with another curriculum like say psychology, he or she can at any point of time declare that he wants to just skip accounting or maybe marketing but want to go for psychology. But whatever learning which happens so far doesn't go into vain. It either becomes your minor track or basically becomes your elective. So ultimately the degree becomes, it follows you rather than you follow your degree. And logically speaking, it's like more of a liberal approach where we give you liberty and freedom to design your own curriculum. And since more of an interdiscipline where a student from psychology as well can go with and learn BA in economics, a student from engineering, BTech, can also learn some of the programs in marketing or maybe accounting or finance or maybe operations or supply chain. A life sciences student at Ahmedabad can also learn some of the programs in chemical or maybe supply chain or maybe psychology or maybe philosophy, history and languages. So that's called as liberal education interdisciplinary, where you have sufficient time to declare your majors and that's how the degree will follow you. So you get a degree maybe perhaps in psychology with a minor track in some other program and then electives, how much you do at the university. Yes, so the second point is we are more into research-based learning. So it's not a very conventional approach. You get projects and assignments every week or daily depending upon the professors. And you will have to cope up and learn those curriculum and come out with something. So that's what is more into project-based learning. And then we also have a very unique thing called as independent study period. More of 32 programs at the university, and this is actually for the existing students who's currently studying at the university. So different programs like birds, seashells. So you are being assigned an instructor in this case, and you learn physically by going and visiting the forest, check the pattern of the birds, go and visit the forest, and then learn more into of a project-based thing. It gives you around 3 credits independent study period. So Ahmedabad the university is more into credit-based system. So we offer you 120 credits for most of the programs. And then we offer you credits which I will be explaining you in the next slide. The campus location is in Navaranpura, which is more into the heart of the city. So you can have an access to all the shopping malls, centers, food courts, multiplexes nearby. And we have a very active sports life. We have sports clubs, associations, cultural activities, drama, arts, music. So you will have a very active sports life if you join Ahmedabad. At the same time, if there is also a very famous ground, which is our ground called as HLCC Pavilion Ground, where the historical match, India-West Indies first test match was being played at the university. We have partnerships with Stanford, Bradford, St. Diego, Holland, Harvey Mudd, and all amazing institutions at Ahmedabad. So these are the programs we offer. We have BBA Honors, BCom. So these all programs are minimum 120 credits. Only with BTech, we have 146 credits. MBA integrated program, we offer 166 credits. And we also have one of a unique program called as Masters in Management Studies.
Akash, this is your 5 minutes allowed.
Yeah, I understand. So these are the boards we accept. The tuition fees is 2.5 lakh per semester. And we accept all the entrances, but UGAT side is not compulsory at Ahmedabad. So at Ahmedabad, the university process of admission is very holistic. We usually go with academic performance, extracurricular activities, personal statement, and personal interaction. So any student who applies at Ahmedabad, we don't have a test as such, but you have to upload all your documents like 10th and 11th marks. Your extracurricular achievements and activities, any certificates you have can be also uploaded. And emphasis is also given more on personal interaction. So it's more of a half-an-hour interaction which is being conducted with a couple of faculties at the university. And then we offer you admissions. So we are starting our early admissions in the month of November. The date will be decided soon and will be optimized on the website. I suppose this will be mostly into first or second week of November at Ahmedabad. So anyone who wishes to apply can go on the website and check. These are the programs we offer. And we also offer merit and need-based scholarships. So any student who has a salary income of less than 8 lakhs or a bracket of 8 lakhs can apply for a need-based. And also for merit-based, you will be eligible. If your percentages are good, we offer you up to 100% scholarship, both for merit and need-based. So you can go on a website, check, and you can obviously connect to me or my contact details. Probably if you want, you can take a click of this image. We are here, from 9 to 6, Monday to
Akash,
Fridays.
may I request you engage with the audience in the chat box and the Q&A section? There are some questions there. And
I do
audience,
that.
please reach out to Akash and Ahmedabad University team and all of us in the chat section and the Q&A section. We are very active, and I can see students have already got some questions there. Yes, Akash, any last word? Then we have to move on.
That's fine. I'm done with it, mostly. And thanks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Akash. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. May I now invite Priya Srivalsan from the wonderful Ashoka University in Delhi NCR. Priya, if you can start your presentation now.
Good morning, students. It's amazing to see over 350 students present here today. Ankur, is my screen visible and am I audible?
Yes.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know, Ashoka is a pioneer in liberal education's program, and we are based out of Sonipat, Haryana, about 50 kilometers from Delhi. I'll quickly take you through some of the aspects of Ashoka University in the next 5 minutes. We are a philanthropic organization, which means that we are not owned by any corporate individual or a corporate group. We were a vision of about 4 founding fathers. Today, we have over 150 founders who believe in the mission and vision of Ashoka. We have people like Mr. Pramod Sinha, Ashish Dhawan, Deep Kalra, Vineet Gupta, Sanjeev Dikchandani as a part of our founding team at Ashoka University. Something that we take a lot of pride in is just really our faculty. We have over 135 full-time, 46 visiting and 40 co-curricular faculty members. Each of them have exceptional teaching as well as research records from universities like Oxford, Harvard, Yale, PhD from Delhi School of Economics. We've very, very recently been awarded as India's top university for economics with respect to research outputs across the world as well. So this is a great honor for us, and our internationally renowned faculty from Oxford, Yale, Cambridge has really helped us reach this big milestone as well. Right. The undergraduate program, the liberal education program, is very similarly structured to most other universities that offer liberal education. You enroll into a 3 years program, at the end of which you get a BA honors or a BSc honors. Your 3 years consists of foundation courses, major and minor courses, and co-curricular courses. We offer an optional 4th year, at the end of which you can get a PG diploma as well. The foundation courses we offer are 9, and all of these are mandatory for all of the students to complete his or her graduation. These form the basis of your curriculum at Ashoka University, and you only have to decide on your major or your minor at the end of 1.5 years. These are the majors, minors, and co-curriculars that we offer. Each student has to take up 1 major, 1 minor, and 2 co-curricular subjects. Please note that we have over 12 pure science majors, 10 interdisciplinary science majors, 7 pure minors. In addition to the 7 minors, a student can also choose a minor from the list of majors. So there are over 200 unique combinations that the students can make, either whether they choose to do a BA honors or a BSc honors. These are some of the research topics that are going on at Ashoka right now, because we are a university that's so fully into research options for our students. Students can participate in ongoing research, they can initiate their own research, they can support the professors through various opportunities available on campus. These are some of our international partners. We have partnerships with over 19 universities, some of the best names across the world, to facilitate a student exchange program, a faculty exchange program, where faculty from these universities engage with our students as well. And we also consult with these universities to make sure the curriculum is the most relevant and the most updated in the world. This is our admission process. We've started our process as of yesterday, 5 p.m. Our applications are now live on our website. This is a 3-stage process. The first stage is application submission and assessments. The second stage is an interview, and then the decision will be communicated to you. Because we are a philanthropic university, we are a need-based financial aid program, or a need-blind financial aid program, where we support students who come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds to help them with their fees in case they can't afford the fees that we have at Ashoka University. Please note that the application and assessments that are both the same parts of the stage 1. So once you submit the application, each and every student has to take the assessments that we offer. These are the timelines. I'm going to quickly skip through this simply because this is available on our website as well. These are some of the places that come and recruit from the graduating batch of Ashoka, and we have a career development cell that makes sure that you're putting your best foot forward when these companies are on campus. These are some of the places where Ashokans are currently pursuing their higher education, whether it's a master's in their chosen field, policy level courses, or a master's in business administration across universities in the world and best universities in India. I also want to share with you that we are launching the YSP Winter Program, which is an opportunity for students to be a part of Ashoka before they can get into Ashoka, understand the university, interact with the faculty, experience certain online courses, develop the art of writing. And in addition to the YSP Winter, we are also offering something called as the YSP Urban Lab, which is specifically geared for students to help understand social impact projects, engage with change makers across the country, and develop solutions for common societal problems that you see in the community every day. In case you're interested in any of these programs, you can go to the website and see for yourself and apply. Lastly, these are my contact details. You can reach out to me for any help and support or any questions. And I will put this in the chat box as well, so you can reach out to me. Ankur, that's about it from my side.
Perfect timing, Priya. This is like perfect 5 minutes. Thank you so much for that wonderful and informative presentation and to the point. May I now invite my wonderful colleague from Atria University, Pratik Acharya. Pratik, if you can start your presentation, please.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, Pratik, go ahead.
Yes. So I represent Atria University, which is located in the Silicon Valley of India, Bangalore. Going forward, I'll jump to the admission process. The admission process is going to be live from November 4th. The first is an online application. The second is a student engagement day, followed by a student interaction day. And then there is an academic decision. So first is in an application, there are 4 parts. One is your personal details. Second is a personal essay where you talk about something that you're passionate about. The third would be a social consciousness. It could be gender equality or going green. You would be given a topic on which you need to talk about. Fourth is a perspective based evaluation where you watch, look at, read a video, and then you share an opinion on it. So there's no right or wrong answer, but we do get to see the way you think, the process of your thinking. The second is a student engagement day where 3 hours, a group of students are put together and they are given a project. A simple project could be based on understanding of fake news. It could be creating a game. It could be algorithmic thinking. And again, here, there is no right or wrong answer. We are only testing the process of your thinking because as we all know, liberal education is actually how to think rather than what to think, right? Followed by a personal interview stage. Now coming to the point where what degrees are offered, we offer BSc, BDes, BTech, and BBA. Atria is a liberal sciences university, which means that, and the special thing about this is that you do not have to decide your degree. You have to find your fit in the first year. The first year is a foundational year wherein any product goes through a life cycle. So first you research a product, then you design a product, you implement that product, and then there is the business part of it, which is taking that product to the customer. So you will find if you're a research-based person, you will choose BSc. If you're a design-based person, you will be choosing BDes. If you're an implementation-based person, you choose BTech. And if you're a business-oriented person, you choose BBA. Obviously, this is a problem with every one of us that we may not know where we fit. So first 12 months is foundational year, and the first 6 months of the second year is where you choose and you test yourself with an internship. And at the end of in the 19th month, basically, that is half of their second year, is where you tell me which degree you want and what majors. Moving to the majors, I have to apologize, my screen is hanging for some reason. Okay, going to the next page is digital transformation, interactive technology, mobility, energy sciences, sustainable life sciences. These are the futuristic majors, we call it, because we truly believe that in the next 5 years, these are the majors that are going to enter India and have lots of jobs. I'll quickly go through each major because the names may not give you a great idea. Digital transformation is an advanced version of computer science where we all know that software development is done. Now it is all about artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. Data science is basically machine learning from data, industrial automation, IoT. Going forward, interactive technology is a second major, which is advanced version of like communication design, where you are going to learn augmented reality, virtual reality, UI, UX, animation, VFX, and web design technology. The third is mobility, where we are going to do it. It is in three parts. One is unmanned aerial systems, like the Amazon's drone delivery system, automotive battery management. In a country like India, you need to have batteries where people can charge their vehicles, and obviously, electric vehicles is a major part of this. The next one is sustainable life science. Sustainable life science is again biotechnology, but this will majorly focus on neuroscience, microbiology, and regenerative medicine. And also a big field that is coming up is gene alterations to get rid of any viruses or coming up in the future, or building immunity basically. Then comes energy sciences. This is a huge part, and definitely this is something that India needs, that we need to move from fossil fuel to other energy sources, which would be solar, photovoltaic, geothermal. Energy storage is a huge problem with these. So you will be doing research on that, nuclear energy, wave energy. Won't get into the details of this. The next one is, now, why is it that most of these majors are not really offered in India? It is because these require very high-tech labs. So these are the three esteemed institutes that will be helping us develop these high-tech labs, which will allow you to implement research and design all of these, whatever are the requirements of these futuristic majors. Coming to the fee structure, the fees is about 6 lakh per year. If you're not from Bangalore, it would cost you an extra 1.8 to live in. But to let you know, there are certain financial bands that are not put in here, and there are 20 crore worth of scholarships which are allocated for this year. Next, I would like to go on the academic council. So the curriculum, obviously, since it's such a futuristic curriculum, we had to take help from all of the academic council from all across the globe to come and put together a curriculum in India. Then is the academic team. Obviously, such a curriculum also requires esteemed faculty from across the globe and top universities to bring their experience into teaching our students the same. These are my details. Obviously, I could not go into detail and in depth of all of these pretty majors, but you could take a screenshot and have a one-on-one counseling session to understand more about each of these majors. We do have elaborate sessions for each major that you would want to know about. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik. Again, you were on time, bang on time. Thank you so much for that. Students, please make sure that you engage with all the university representatives in the Q&A and the chat box. They are available there. Their coordinates will be there. So please go ahead and ask your questions there. May I now invite my colleague from Bennett University, Shehnaz Cheema. Shehnaz, if you can go ahead and start your presentation.
Yes. Thank you, Ankur. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for all the students and parents joining us in this wonderful session. So I would like to start by talking a little bit about Bennett University. We were started in 2016, and we have quite a few programs which will be appealing to a large amount of students. So I'm just going to start my presentation here now. So I hope you can hear me and see my presentation.
Yeah, Shehnaz, we can.
Thank you. So we are a part of the Times Group. As you all know, the Times Group has been a part of the publication and media scene in India for about 180 plus years. We are the only 360-degree multimedia group with a presence in print, digital, radio, magazine, and outdoor. These are some of the brands that you must have interacted with every day in your daily lives. The Times of India newspaper, or the Mumbai Mirror newspaper, the Radio Mirchi radio station is a part of our group, the magazines Femina and Economic Times newspaper. These are all some of our brand names. So we have a few international universities that are our academic partners. These academic partners help us in designing our curriculum so that we are current in our curriculum, and we have the latest in terms of teachings and various other practices that need to be adopted so that our university is on par with all of these international universities. We also have visiting faculty from these partner universities who go ahead and come to Bennett and teach a couple of courses. All of our students also have the opportunity of going to these universities basis joint research projects that need to be done, or an immersion or summer projects that can be done at the university. Some of these universities that we are partners with are Florida International, Georgia Tech, Cornell Law, Nebraska. So all of these are our academic partners. So these are the programs that we offer at Bennett University. We offer a BTech program, which is a 4-year program. We have a Bachelor of Computer Applications, a Bachelor of Business Administration. We also have a 5-year integrated law program. This is either done with BBA or BA. We have a Bachelor of Liberal Arts program, and of course our most sought after program, which is the Journalism and Mass Communication program, which we offer both in English and Hindi. So I'll quickly go over the details in terms of the eligibility and the requirements to be a part of these programs. So in the BTech program, currently our university is ranked 2nd in the Best Emerging University for Engineering. Our engineering programs are BTech Biotechnology, BTech Computer Science. With our Computer Science Engineering program, we do offer 6 specializations. You can pick any one of these specializations. We have Artificial Intelligence, Data Science, Blockchain, Cybersecurity, Gaming and Virtual Reality, and Robotics and Automation. We also offer Electronics and Communication, Engineering Physics, and Mechanical Engineering. So as you can see, the students at our university have the opportunity on working on various, latest equipment, from drones to automated robots. The eligibility for the BTech program is class 12 has to be with a minimum of 60% in 5 subjects. 3 subjects are mandatory: physics and maths for all programs except biotechnology. If you're looking at biotechnology, it'll be physics and biology. The selection criteria is based on either your class 12 marks or your JEE main. If you're looking at biotechnology, we would need your NEET marks, or you can also share your marks which you have scored in the SAT exam. So as you all know, JEE is conducted, is a national testing agency in India. And it's for various engineering colleges. It's conducted twice a year. The NEET is for anybody who's trying to get into medical or dental college. And SAT is a standardized online proctor test, which is a multiple choice, which is, you are tested in verbal, quantitative, and logical reasoning. The next is a BCA program, which is a Bachelor of Computer Applications. Now, this is a 3-year program. This is for students who might not want to invest the 4 years in a BTech program, but still be able to work in the computer industry, work on the latest jobs that are coming up in cloud computing, cybersecurity, or data science. These are some of the specializations we offer in our BCA program. Again, eligibility is class 12th with 55%. Your selection is based on either your class 12th marks or your SAT or JEE scores. The BBA program, which is our Bachelor of Business Administration, is again, the eligibility is 60%. English is compulsory in class 12th, maths is compulsory in class 10th. We base your selection on your class 12th or your SAT scores. We do offer specializations in BBA, which is entrepreneurship, finance, marketing, human resources, advertising, and PR. Now, this is the 5-year integrated law program. This is a 5-year program where you go ahead and study law. Along with that, you can either pick BBA or you can pick BA. Again, 60%. English is compulsory in class 12th. You can either give your CLAT scores or your LSAT scores or your class 12 scores. This is the moot court that we have at our campus, where our students are given and work on their moot court appearances. CLAT is again a nationalized test, mostly used for most national law university and private law.
5-minute alarm, sorry.
All right, thank you, Ankur. Next we have is a liberal arts. This is, as you've heard from quite a few universities before us, is a very unique and special program. In the first year, you do not have to pick a major. You can try a variety of subjects and figure out which works best for you, where your interests lie. And then from the second year onwards, you can declare a major. We have 11 majors, as you can see, ranging from psychology to English literature, finance, advertising and PR. Any of these one can be picked. Again, based on class 12th or SAT, and we also conduct a personal interview for selection. Our most sought after program is the BA Journalism and Mass Communication program. This again, the advantage that you have is that you'll be able to interact with a lot of Times of Media editors. You will have a lot of industry related internships. As you can see, eligibility is 40% in 12th and English is compulsory. This is the film studio that we have. And this is our sound studio where students are able to go ahead and work on a Bennett radio program. Media students also put out a newspaper called Times of Bennett, which they have to work on themselves. And this is a glimpse of the Bennett University, a great sports program. We have wonderful hostels, faculty, from various international universities and Indian universities with their PhDs and doctorates. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Any questions and queries, I will definitely go ahead and answer in the chat box. Thank you, Ankur.
Thank you. Thank you, Shahnaz. May I now invite Ms. Malini Gulati from the Flame University in Pune? Malini, are you around? I think Ms. Malini, can you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you and hear you. Please go ahead and start your presentation, please.
Yeah. Is the presentation visible to everybody?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Malini and I'm a representative of Flame University. Today, we are going to talk about liberal education, the concept and the world of opportunities that it opens up for its students as they graduate from a university like Flame. Flame is 14 years old and we are located out of Pune. So I'm just trying to put my presentation on the next page. Some technical issues, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the next page, we have the specialization areas. Flame offers a Bachelor of Arts with a dual specialization, that is a major and a minor, in subjects like economics, psychology, literary and cultural studies, international studies, environmental studies, journalism, and so on. The other specializations are Bachelor of Arts, which is an honors program in economics. We have a BSc major and minor in applied mathematics. BSc honors is also offered in computer sciences. And then we have a BBA with a dual specialization in finance, marketing, HR management, operations, and so on. The other program that we offer is a BBA in communication management, which is relevant to the media industry. That is advertising and branding, digital marketing and communications, film and TV, communication studies, and so on. So it's a wide range of courses across various disciplines. As you can see, if you want to take a picture of the screen, you can do that. So the first year is going to completely focus on foundation courses. We offer core courses, which are 8 in number. The names are suggested here as academic writing, critical reasoning, public speaking and debate, digital literacy, introduction to applied ethics, and so on. These are mandatory core subjects. And in the next column right here, we have universes of knowledge, which are physical and natural sciences, fine and performing arts, global studies with foreign languages, social sciences, and humanities. So the students are expected to take 2 courses from each of these universes to make it a foundation program of 8 plus 10. So to broaden that course selection, we have suggested the course names here. And in the physical and natural sciences, you will have courses like genetics, planet Earth, ideas of modern physics. In fine and performing arts, you could pick up courses like contemporary dance, music and culture, expression in 3-dimensional. Then we have global studies with languages like French, Mandarin, Urdu, Sanskrit, and so on. Social sciences and humanities are the other two universes of knowledge with the subjects which are listed below. So minimum of 2 courses are expected to be taken up by the students from each of these universes of knowledge. The second and third year will focus completely on the specialization combinations. The students can either take up a pure honors program in computer science or in economics, or they can club major and minor combinations and take it as a dual specialization. The experiential learning courses will talk about the field-based projects. The field-based projects will include projects like Discover India program, that is to understand your history, your culture and civilization of India. The other field-based project would be developmental activities program, which is about an NGO activity where you work with a community or a section of the society which needs special help or care. The third project will be a summer internship program wherein you will work with a company or an organization in the areas of your major. So a student whose specialization is finance can work with a chartered accountant. A student whose specialization is advertising and branding can work with an advertising agency. A student whose specialization is psychology can also work in clinical psychology. The fourth year at FLAME is an optional fourth year. This is for those students who want to go for higher studies abroad. And the universities are looking for 16 years of education. So the fourth year is going to fetch you a postgraduate diploma. That is another certificate in addition to your degree. This is seamless extension of the third year undergraduate program, and you go for further research, internship, and thesis in the areas of your major. Now coming to the admission process, which is the hot topic of today, we are going to talk about the FLAME entrance test, which is one way of appearing through our admission process. Also, students can submit their SAT scores or ACT scores if they want to do that. Otherwise, you can plain and simple apply through the FLAME entrance test, followed by online essay and personal interview. The online applications for FLAME have started today. So all those who are interested in FLAME University for the liberal education program can start applying from today onwards, and the application cost is 2,000 rupees. The admission calendar is like this. Admission tests start in December. The applications have already opened for December, January, February, March, and April. And that's about the fee structure. Our annual fees is 8,10,000 rupees. That includes your tuition fees, boarding, lodging, and other fees.
Malini,
we are
this
also,
is 5 minute,
yes, we are also offering need and merit-based scholarships to our students. That's the picture depiction of FLAME University campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malini. Students, as I said earlier, please ask your questions in the chat box. I can see some people have raised their hands, but unfortunately I can't take questions now because we are running a very tight schedule. We'll try and come back to your questions at the end. May I now invite my colleague Vikram Patel from Kriya University in Chennai. Vikram, if you can start your presentation.
Yes. Thank you, Ankur. Sorry. Can you hear me? Is the screen visible?
Yeah,
okay, great.
Visible.
A very good morning to all of you. I'm Vikram. I'm part of the Office of Outreach at Kriya University. Many of you might have heard about Kriya, but we're new. But also to say that we have a legacy that's firm. Many of you might have heard of something called IFMR. It stands for Institute for Financial Management and Research. This is an organization that started in the 1970s, and it was started by Mr. N. Bagul, who is one of the founding chairmen of ICICI Bank. And IFMR has research centers across India and around the world. Some of you who heard of Professor Abhijit Banerjee, who recently won a Nobel Prize in Economical Sciences. Most of his work was under a center called JPAL, which is the Abdul Jamal Poverty Action Lab, and the Asia Center is under IFMR. So we really have, ePod, for example, works with Harvard Kennedy Business School. iWage works with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have centers that work with Yale, with MIT. So really, I think in terms of research, we are top notch for the last 50 years. We have now launched the School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences, which is the undergraduate school where we offer liberal education degrees. We are located very close to Chennai, about 60 kilometers north of Chennai in a place called Sri City. That's in Andhra Pradesh. It's a completely residential campus and a very unique one. I think one of the most important things that you should know about Kriya is that we are based on the model of collective philanthropy, which means that this isn't a university started by one corporate or one person. Nobody actually, we don't have founders. We have council members who govern Kriya University. And some of them who you might know are people like Dr. Raghuram Rajan, who was the former governor of Reserve Bank of India, or people like Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, who is the founder of a company called Biocon, which is India's largest life sciences company in research, or people like Professor John H. Mendy, who is the longest serving provost of Stanford University. We recently had Rajiv Memani, who's the chairman of Ernst & Young India, who's joined us. So really, people who are scholars, educators, industrialists, academicians from around the world have come together to start Kriya University. And the mission is to really give you very high quality research education right here in India, create the same kind of intellectual environment, the freedom to choose courses, and the quality of faculty that you would get at any good global university in the world. I think Kriya pioneers interwoven. So we are not just a liberal education university, we are an interwoven learning university, which means that I think we are one of the few universities that understand that sciences and humanities and arts cannot be studied in seclusion. And that's why we've sort of interweaved the arts and the sciences. So even if you're doing a science major at Kriya, pure science, or an applied science major, you will have components from humanities like history and philosophy and writing part of your curriculum. And whether you're doing a humanities or social sciences major like economics or history or politics, you will have scientific thinking, data analytics as part of your program. So we've really come up with like 8 guiding principles that is going to make you ready for the 21st century skills, which is, the future is going to be so unpredictable. So to prepare you for that kind of an unpredictable world, we have this model of interwoven learning. I can't speak more about this. I can take all half an hour to speak about just this model, but you can ask me questions about it. In terms of faculty, I think we've been very fortunate to get some of the brightest minds from around the world, whether it is people like Professor John Matthew, who's a double PhD from Harvard and Old Dominion, and his 2 PhDs are in biology and literature. So you have people with diverse interests. You have Ramchandra Guha, who's a historian. He's written books like India After Gandhi. Pranab Bardhan, who's a top economist of the country, or people like Vishnu Mahapatra, who's a political scientist from Oxford, but who's also a poet. So you have people like this who've come, Professor Hariharan, who's a national award-winning filmmaker. So amazing people, and most of these are full-time faculty members. They're not just names on the picture. We really have some of the change makers of India teaching at Kriya University. What do we offer? The structure is very similar to what you've heard before. The first year is a foundation year. We offer a BA and a BSc honors degrees, 3 years compulsory. 4th year is a year of advanced studies, which is a postgraduate diploma that you get if you do the 4th year. In the first year, we expose you to subjects from sciences, humanities, social sciences, and arts. So, whatever you've done in your 11th and 12th doesn't matter to us. Even if you're a commerce student, you can apply for the sciences. We have no prerequisite. You don't have to have math to apply for economics. So that way we are very open. But in the foundation year, we give you skills like mathematical reasoning and data analytics and literature and creative expression to make you understand a little bit about who you are and what you want to do. In terms of majors and minors, Kriya offers about 13 majors, about 15 minors, 4 joint majors, concentrations, independent studies. So there is a ton of options that are available for you. We have economics, history, social studies, politics, philosophy. And in the sciences, we have biological sciences, chemistry, psychology. And you can mix any subject, like you can do psychology and music, you can do math and computer science, you can do economics and literature. So you really have a lot of subject combinations that are available to you. In terms of partnerships, we've just started a year ago, but we've already signed up with some of the top universities around the world. We've signed with the University of Oxford for research, with the University of Chicago. We have a summer school arrangement, Berkeley Global, where you can do a 4th year program at the University of Berkeley, Stanford, King's, And we also have institutional partnerships like the AIC, where you can do internships, not just in India, but in about 20 cities around the world. We have a very diverse set of students who come from across the country, some of the brightest minds. So we really value diversity. The campus, as I said, is 40 acres, beautiful green campus located very close to the city of Chennai. These are some of the pictures.
5-minute alarm.
Okay, done. So these are some of the pictures of the campus. The admission process, it's two-staged. The first step is for you to apply online. If you're shortlisted, we bring you into something called an immersion day, where we test on how you think. So CREA is very selective in terms of who we want at the university, but we are truly looking at merit, which is beyond academics. For those of you in the grade 12 and looking to apply, 19th of October is when we start the early action round. And it's a short round, it's only for a month. So you sort of get to hear whether you're in or out by the 24th of December. The dates for round 2, round 3, and round 4 will be announced very soon. Thank you. Thank you, Ankur.
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. May I now invite Mr. Ramesh Mishra from NMIMS University. Ramesh. Yes.
Yeah, hi Ankur, thank you. And without wasting time, I will just start my screen. Yeah. Yeah, so very good morning to all of you. I am representing NMIMS University. Just to give you a brief introduction about NMIMS, it's a multidisciplinary university offering various programs in various domains. Other than medical, we are present almost in each and every segment. We are category 1 university, which is given by the status is given by the MHRD, and we are grade A+ university, which is a grade A+ is an NAAC accreditation given by, again, a very prestigious body in India. Recently, we have received our international accreditations for engineering programs from ABBET. ABBET is a recognition giving to the BTech programs in India. I will quickly move on to the
Ramesh,
we are offering. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we are not able to see your presentation clearly. There is
okay.
some
Now it is visible.
It is visible, but it's very scattered. It's not clear.
Okay, just a minute. I will reshare again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope, Ankur, now it is visible clearly.
Still, it's not 100%. I think there is some bandwidth issues. So probably what can we do is we can come back to you for your.
Okay, fine. Yeah,
I'll go to my next speaker, Mr. Ramana from Mahindra University in Hyderabad. Mr. Ramana, if you're around. Mahindra University representative, Mr. Ramana, if you are around, please go ahead. Or if you are not around, then probably I'll have to move to my next speaker. I'll just wait for 30 seconds. Can I have Shailendra, please? Shailendra from OP Jindal Global University. Shailendra, you're around?
Yeah, I'm there, Ankur.
Yeah, please go ahead and share your presentation for OP Jindal.
Sure, Ankur.
And
Sure.
then come back to Ramesh and Ramana.
Sure. Is my screen visible, Ankur?
Yes, it's visible. Shailendra, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ankur. A very good morning, all of you. We are OP Jindal Global University, a philanthropic initiative by Mr. Naveen Jindal. We are located in Delhi NCR, Sonipat. Established in 2009, I'm sorry. We have been quoted as one of the most promising and upcoming university of this country. The QS agency, which ranks university at global level, they have ranked us as the #1 private university this year. And last year, we were being selected by the central government under Institute of Eminence. There are certain parameters which has really helped us reaching these milestones and win accolades for us. Given the paucity of time, I will not be able to get in depth of all the points, but I will touch base some of them for your reference. One is faculty. We have been ranked second in India for maintaining a faculty-student ratio of 1:10. Why we do this is because we are a research-focused university, and the role of the faculty is more than teaching, and they are more like a mentor to the students. So we have to ensure that the ratio is there where focus has been there for all the students. And most of the faculties come with rich industry experience, which they bring in the classroom and in their teaching pedagogy, and also when they are upgrading and updating the curriculum. Key highlights of the faculty: 73% of the faculties have at least one international degree, and 16% faculties are of foreign nationals. And that is one of the reasons we call ourselves as a global university. 43% faculties have degrees from top 200 global university. Internationalization, we have collaboration with more than 250 international universities across 52 countries. When I say collaborations, it includes a student exchange program, dual degree program, summer schools, international internship, and joint research opportunities. To name a few, we have collaboration with Harvard, Oxford, Wharton, Cornell, Berkeley, and many more. I will request every student to please visit our website. We'll share the link of the website at the end of the presentation. You will get in-depth information about all the points I'm talking about on the website. Every semester, more than 150 students go for their semester exchange to more than 100 international universities. We are a multidiscipline university, multidiscipline which has been well explained by other universities in this session, where you can choose subjects from different schools. So even at Jindal Global University, every semester students get to choose from 200 elective subjects they can choose, for the cross-listed electives. Talking about infrastructure, we are spread across 82-acre campus. It's a fully residential campus. The hostel and the classrooms are centrally air-conditioned. As I said, we are a research-focused university. Therefore, we have an exhaustive library with access to over 9,000 books and 12,000 journals. The catering is taken care by Sodexo, and we also have a on-campus food court, which includes Domino's, Subway, and Burgers. So definitely, you're not going to miss your home food. In fact, I invite each one of you to please take out time and visit our campus and experience the campus. It is a very lively campus. The students have come up with their own clubs and societies, and under these clubs and societies throughout the year, they keep organizing fest and events. We also have inter and intra sports competition. We have an expansive sports facilities. We have cricket ground, football ground, badminton court, tennis court, volleyball court, and Olympic size swimming pool. Our alumni are working with leading companies such as Google, Amazon, ITC, Indigo. They are working with think tanks like EY, PwC, McKinsey, and they're also working with international law firms. And the students who have opted for higher education, they are pursuing their higher education, either master's or PhD from world-class universities. We have 16 undergraduate programs under 9 interdisciplinary schools, which makes us a multidisciplinary university. We offer programs in social sciences, humanities, liberal arts, management, law, architect, and recently we have also launched a school of psychology under which we are offering BA honors in psychology. I will again request each one of you to please visit the website for in-depth information about all the programs that we offer, to know more about the faculties that are associated with these programs, what are their qualifications, and what are their research areas. Coming to the admission process, it's a 3-step online process. First step is the application stage. Second is our online test called JSAT, and the final round is the interview round with the faculty. Once you submit your application, then the second step is the online test called JSAT, Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test. It's a 120-minute online test comprising 120 multiple choice questions. Questions will be from logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude, and verbal ability. We have tie-up with Pearson VUE for this, and we have test centers across the country. And during the time of pandemic, you don't need to move anywhere. You can sit at home and you can give this test. In fact, if you have appeared for a SAT examination, you can share your SAT score with us. And if you're eligible through your SAT score, then you don't need to give JSAT. I will suggest all the students in this session to please appear for SAT examination. For one reason, the SAT score will open doors for many universities, not only in India, abroad as well. JSAT is basically for all the undergraduate programs, but not for law and for architect programs. For law, if you want to apply for law, you have to appear for LSAT India, not LSAT, LSAT India examination. And for architect, you have to appear for NATA test. What we really look forward in an interview, the faculty looks for an overall communication skill. What is the value addition you're going to bring to the university? And what kind of diversity and range of extracurricular activities you were involved at school level. Yes, we do have scholarships under means cum merit basis. Your family income has to be below 30 lakh rupees per annum to avail any kind of a scholarship. So that's all from us, from our end. Thank you so much, Ankur. If you have any questions, please do write it in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shailendra, and this is on time. Thank you so much for being on time. Appreciate it. May I now go invite Ramesh? Ramesh, if you are ready, and we can.
Yeah, Ankur, I'm ready. I will not open up my video. I will directly share the screen.
Sure, go ahead.
So I hope, Ankur, it is visible now.
Yeah, better.
Better? Yeah, fine. Yeah. So where I have stopped earlier, I will just continue from there. Currently, NMIMS is fully functional in seven cities: Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Sherpur, Dhule, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Indore. And the 8th campus, which is going to be operational soon from 2021, will be Chandigarh city. Out of this entire, we have Sherpur happens to be the complete residential campus where it is mandatory for the students to stay in the campus. And in Hyderabad, again, Jadcherla, where we are coming, again, it will be complete residential campus. Now, these are the programs what we are offering after 12th standard. We have, as I said like earlier, we have almost all the programs offered in each and every domain, whether it's engineering, pharmacy, commerce, or agriculture, everything is there. I will just touch upon the few programs which is needs a little bit explanation. NMIMS was the first university to start with BTech in data science complete 4 years programs in 2017. And this year we have collaborated with Virginia Tech. It is an academic collaboration for 3 programs: data science, AI, and cybersecurity in the BTech, where the faculties from the USA will be traveling to India and they will be taking up the lectures, 7 subjects over here in India at Mumbai campus. Recently, we have collaborated with again Virginia Tech for a very unique initiative. It is called 311 Coordinated Initiative. It is called as BTech Data Science, BTech Computer Science in Data Science, with BS as a 4th year, and 5th year will be MS in Business Analytics. So 3 years in India, 2 years in USA. That's a very unique initiative what we have collaborated with Virginia Tech. We are the pioneers for offering integrated programs. The first program as a university, what we started was MBA Tech. It is a BTech plus MBA in technology management. Generally, it takes 6 years to complete this kind of a curriculum. We have integrated and we'll be completing in 5 years. Similar to this program, we have a program in pharmacy also, where it is a MBA Pharma Tech, again, dual degree program. So one thing is here, we cannot exit in between. Like it is not like a 3 years program.
For this presentation and being on time. So
thank you so
appreciate it. Can I now invite, I'm being told that our colleague from Mahindra University is here. If you are here, Mr. Ramana,
yeah, hi.
can you start your presentation, please?
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to you?
Yeah.
So sorry for joining late. Actually, now you understand the situation in Hyderabad. So I mean, the continuous raining here, continuously raining here.
A lot of rains in Hyderabad, yeah.
Yeah. So power cuts also. Yeah, now everything is okay. Even power cuts also. That's the reason I'm unable to submit my presentation now. Can I present orally? Is it
quickly?
Okay?
You have 5 minutes, sir, and 5 minutes as you can utilize as you want. Please go ahead.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Myself, Ramana, I'm Assistant Manager Outreach for Mahindra University. To talk more about our college, right now we are a university, but till last year, it was an engineering college. They called as Mahindra Ecole Central College of Engineering. It's a collaboration between Mahindra Group and Ecole Central Paris. So after 7 years of journey, this year we have formed a university under the by government of Telangana. We call it as Mahindra University. Till last year, we had only 4 courses. Those are computer science, electrical and electronics engineering, civil engineering, and mechanical engineering. And this year, we have added 3 more courses, and those are artificial intelligence, electronics and computer science engineering, and computation mathematics. So total 7 courses we have offered this year. And next year, we are going with, apart from engineering, we are going with PhD and law and designing and B.Ed. These are the courses which we are going to add up from next year onwards. And the eligibility criteria is, for engineering I'm talking about, for engineering eligibility criteria would be student has to qualify in JEE Mains. Those who are qualified in JEE Mains, they are eligible to get admission here. And if not, the second option would be subject SAT. Subject SAT, maths, physics, chemistry are mandatory. And each subject is of 800 score. Out of 2,400, 1,800 is our cutoff. If student satisfies any one criteria, then he is eligible to get admission here. When it comes to the fee structure, it's including hostel and everything, it's 6 lakhs per annum. 4 lakhs would be your academic fees, hostel, mess and gymkhana fees, another 2 lakhs, total 6 lakhs per annum. So we also offer a scholarships. We call it as meritorious scholarships. In first year, based on their JEE scores or subject SAT scores, top 12 students in each branch will be awarded with a scholarship of 1 lakh. From second, third, and final year, it depends on preceding year academic performance. Whoever stands in top 12, they would be getting a scholarship of 1 lakh each. We also have a separate scholarship for girl child. Out of total strength, top 20 students would be getting a scholarship of 1 lakh. So this is about our college. Now we were a college last year till last year. Now we are a university. We call it as Mahindra University. So thank you so much. For any queries, you can ping me back. So we will respond to it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ramana, and wish you well. I hope rain stop in Hyderabad and your situations come under in control. May I now move over to the Q&A round, and I've seen that a lot of our university representatives have already answered a lot of questions, but may I invite all the representatives to start their cameras, please, and so that we can engage with the audience. It's always better to see people on camera so that students can relate to us. Students, if you want to have your Q&A taken live, you can just raise your hand and we'll come to you for the questions. So anybody has any questions, please raise your hand and we will unmute you and you can ask your questions directly. You can see there is one hand that has been raised. Let me. So Mujtaba Khan. So I'm just going to unmute you, Mujtaba, and you can probably go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir, and good afternoon, all of you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, I have just a question that which university from this is best for aeronautical engineering?
Anybody has aeronautical engineering? Anybody want to take this question? Please go ahead. I don't know. Probably Atria. They have a lot of very interesting programs. Pratik, you have something to do with aeronautics?
Yes. I think I answered his question in the chat just now. So aeronautic comes under the major of BTech in mobility. In mobility, we specifically have avionics, aeronautics, and unmanned flying systems as a major. Please do check out on the website that I mentioned in your chat box. You would get a detailed information on that.
Thank you, Pratik.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a
lot. Yes, the next raised hand is from Anurag. Anurag, if you can go ahead and ask your question. Anurag, can you hear us? Okay, so I go on to the next person, Madhura, if you can ask your question.
Good afternoon. Priya ma'am, as I asked you the question regarding the entrepreneurship courses, I just wanted to know that, like exactly what is the thing which happens? I could not get it actually. I'm really sorry.
No worries at all, Madhura. So yes, we do offer a minor in entrepreneurship at Ashoka University. I think that was your specific course, or that was your specific question. And you can take it in combination with any of the other major subjects that you're interested in. A good combination would be like an economics and finance major with an entrepreneurship minor. Another very, very popular course is a computer science major and entrepreneurship minor. So we do have a very active entrepreneurship cell that actually does boot camps every single year with students, with most of the students coming in, brainstorming on different ideas, going through an incubation program, and then also launching their own organizations at the end of it. I'm happy to send you an entrepreneurship newsletter as well, which will tell you the various organizations that have been launched by Ashokans so far. So if you could write to me on my email address, I can send you a lot more details about the entrepreneurship department and the work that has been done by the students. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to add one more thing that this incubation program, is it available for 9th and 10th graders? Because I am in 9th grade right now.
Okay, so you can be a part of the YSP program, the one that I spoke at the end of my presentation. The YSP program is open from 9th grade onwards to 12th grade. So any student from 9th grade to 12th grade can be a part of the Young Scholars program that we offer at Ashoka. This year we are launching the Winter YSP, which will be for 5 days in December and a couple of weekends in January. The idea here is, of course, for students to understand Ashoka University, interact with the faculty. We'll also be orienting them with minimum 8 courses that we offer at Ashoka University. You will be engaging in experiential online activities. And as a part of this entrepreneurship that you're doing, we are actually doing the urban lab where you're going to be designing a solution for any social impact problems that you see in the community and try and implement it in the immediate community as well. So we are going to equip the students with methodology in which they can actually design a potential solution to any problem that they are facing in the community. So you can Google YSP. There's a fees associated with YSP, but in case you need financial assistance for the same, we are providing financial assistance for YSP programs as well. So yes, you can do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Priya. And I do believe, I think Symbiosis and Flame also have summer school here. So probably you should, if you are looking at them, you can check them out. Also, I don't have the time so that I can't bring them in now, but you can check out. A lot of us have summer schools. Hassan Farooqi.
Uncle, there was another question by a student which I read. I would just like to answer
Yeah,
that.
go ahead.
Yeah, so there was a question if Flame offers only an honors program only in economics. So I just want to clarify that Flame offers an honors program in computer science as well. So these are essentially pure programs with a single specialization. The students will have to go through the foundation program first and then declare their majors. So in an honors program, there is no possibility of taking a minor along with it because honors itself is a very rigorous program and it's a pure specialization. So you can choose to do economics honors or computer science honors at Flame.
Okay, thank you so much, Manini. Can I have Hassan, please? Hassan, please go ahead and ask your question because I'm also looking at the clock and we are running out of time. Hassan, if you can ask your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is that the SAT exam which we give for science stream, is it the same or different for non-science streams and other foreign universities?
Anybody would like to take this question up?
Hi, sir. I think this was
Yeah,
just
Aina.
test.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it's not about a Symbiosis test, Aina. It's about SAT. He is asking, is there a different syllabus for the SAT exam for commerce students or science students?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I heard SET. I'm so sorry.
No, SAT, right? Hassan, it's SAT, right?
Yes, sir. It's SAT.
Yes, the SAT exam, there is a general exam, there is no difference between science or commerce student. It's a common paper. I am not aware of the details, but generally it takes your logical reasoning, English and maths. Those are the three skills that they test. There are also subject specific tests from SAT, which are generally geared towards if you are interested in a particular course and you want to apply for that. There are US universities that take those tests, but in India, generally all are my partner universities, and I am speaking on behalf of them, require a general SAT exam. Which is out of 1600. You score out of 1600 and you have to go to an online So not an online center, you have to go to a test center to give that exam. I think if we can share the SAT link in the website, I'll do that for you. But that's a general exam. There is no difference between commerce, non-medical or medical. Okay.
Ankur, to add to that, I think at Kriya University, we look at a combined score. So we don't look at individual test scores. We need a combined score and with an essay. So that is, I think, one of the things that students can keep in mind. I think that's very general for most Indian universities.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
My question is to Mrs. Malini ma'am. Is she there?
Yeah, she's there. Go ahead.
Ma'am, does the Flame University has the MBA courses available?
Yes, it does. And these are postgraduate courses. So anybody who wants to apply to Flame for MBA has to go through the regular process of appearing either for a CAT, MAT, CMAT, Maharashtra CET, Xavier's aptitude test, any of these tests which are essentially national level entrance tests for MBA.
Can I have now Kabir, please? Kabir, if you can go ahead and ask your question quickly. And Kabir, if you are not going to ask the question, can I have Ruzain Patel, who has also...
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ruzain, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I wanted to ask Aina ma'am if they have a BCom course.
Aina, if you have
in symbiosis.
In symbiosis.
So, sir, we do offer BCom BBA courses, but it does not come under Symbiosis School for Liberal Arts. It comes under another college under Symbiosis International University. So the college we presented on was Symbiosis School for Liberal Arts, which does not offer a BCom course.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you. So how do I apply for that, ma'am?
So
Dr.
they have...
Shweta, you are on mute or something. We can't hear you. Dr. Shweta wants to come in.
Am I audible?
You are audible, but Dr. Shweta is trying to speak. We are not able to hear her.
Oh.
Aina, probably you can complete what you were saying.
Yeah, no, so I meant that we have like the SET is in general for all colleges, but then after that, every college has a specific admission process. So you'll have to check on their website for the BCom course if you're looking at specifically.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I'll have one last question before we have the conclusion of this webinar. If we can have Srushti Karmakar. Srushti,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead and ask your question.
So I just wanted to ask, is there any courses related to like filmmaking, cinematography, or screenplay writing or direction or something like that in any of these universities?
Please, if you can.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, please. This is the last question. Please go ahead and answer this.
Yes. So answer to that question is Flame offers a media program which also gives specializations in film and television, advertising and branding, digital marketing and communication studies. So anybody interested in this line of creativity where media excellence is involved, it's called a BBA Communications Management Program. And further to that, while BBA Communication Management is at the undergraduate level, we also offer a MBA Communication Management. Like we offer the general MBA program, we also offer the MBA Communication, Mass Communication program as well, where the entry level will be through CAT, MAT, CMAT, Maharashtra CET and so on, like I said earlier. So any other question related to media?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
No.
Thank you, Shruti.
So anybody else wants to chip in?
Yeah, Ankur, just to answer her query, even NMIMS does have a BBA branding advisement, not exactly media, but yes, we do offer similar programs to that. So they can apply for BBA branding. It will be through NPAT, SAT and ACT. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time today. My colleagues, thank you so much for running the show on time. We are bang on time, 12:30, couple of minutes above it. And it's always a good feeling when we finish on time and start on time. My gratitude to Vishal and Karan from OP Jindal Global University, my team, for organizing this, coordinating this. And I would like to invite Nasreen Mirza from Stepping Stone High School, the counselor there. We want to say thank you to you, Nasreen, and Dr. D. Cruz, the principal at Stepping Stone High School, Aurangabad, for inviting us. Nasreen, if you're around and if we can see you on camera, we'll love to, say our thanks. Nasreen, if you're around, Vishal, is Nasreen around?
Yes, sir. She is online. I'm just trying to.
So let's wait for her to come online because she wanted to say a vote of thanks to all of us. Let's wait for her to come. Nasreen, yeah, we can see you. Please go ahead. You're on mute, Nasreen. Go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. As we say that good things come to an end in a life, and so is this webinar. On behalf of Stepping Stones High School, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those who have directly or indirectly contributed to this webinar on admission and entrance examination process organized by OP Jindal University and hosted by Stepping Stones High School. I thank Mr. Ankur Vora, Mr. Vishal and his team of OP Jindal for arranging this particular webinar. My sincere gratitude goes to all these 11 universities on this platform for accepting our proposal in enlightening our students with details about their future universities. I would like to thank our school principal, Dr. Angelo Michael De Cruz, our management, chief coordinator, our senior school coordinator, our teachers, and for this enthusiastic support. My heartfelt thanks to our dear students and parents for their active participation. With these warm words, a kind message, we move on to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nasreen. It was an honor and I wish you all the best. My colleagues, if you have some message for Nasreen, please go ahead. This is goodbye from my side.
A pic, please. All of you, please put videos.
Yeah, if you can, everyone have put on their cameras. Nasreen can have a picture of us together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nasreen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to coming back to your school in the future again, and be in touch. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks,
you.
Nasreen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, children. Thank you, everyone.